words that could be thought of or used to describe Bon Iver frontman Justin Vernon, but each word never really feels like they perfectly encapsulate the multi-instrumentalist singer-songwriter. The guy's knack of genre bending, not only with Bon Iver but also with his other bands, which include Diamond Edison, Volcano Choir and the Shouting Machines, and a propensity for stark yet gorgeous lyricism, have made Vernon one of this decade's most glorified artists. Going back to the opening sentence, one word that could describe Vernon accurately would be unpredictable. And with the anticipation of his new album, 22 A Million, under the Bon Iver moniker, and the knowledge of the slew of samples that were to accompany this project, samples from the likes of Stevie Nicks, Paolo Nutini and Sharon Van Etten, just to name a few, it was anybody's guess what this album had in store. And what fans and listeners alike were given was Bon Iver's most glitchy, experimental and completely off-the-wall album to date. A complete and utter departure from the delicate folk musings that many will already be acquainted with, the likes of For Emma, Forever Ago. Whilst it's fair to say that this project may not be everybody's cup of tea, and even the Bon Iver hardcore may be uncertain as to how to react to this album. However, one thing is for certain, this album has redefined Bon Iver, and in this critic's opinion, for the better. Although listeners will be treated to a few organic moments on this album, i.e. the piano inclusions on tracks like 33 God and 00000 million, which also includes subtle hints of guitar, the folk-inspired 29 #Stratford apartments with low fuzzy horns which have more richness and life on 8 circle. For the majority, the album oozes these intoxicating and mesmerising electronic sounds that don't feel overdone, messy, noisy, or annoying at any point. Even Vernon's vocal deliveries, which for the most part are delivered via vocoder, are fascinating to listen to. Utilising this device, Vernon manages to create some incredible moments and melodies that enhance the key strength of this album, the theme of finding oneself and swimming through the uncertainty that comes throughout the journey. 22 Over Soon opens the album and thus begins the quest of self-discovery. The repetition of the lyric, "It might be over soon," adds this urgent dynamic of finding the answer before it all comes to an end, and acknowledges on 10 Death Breast that there will be many obstacles along the way, namely in the form of people who are out to spite Vernon, but that he's also ready to take the risks that will inevitably show up, even stretching as far as to find meaning on a religious plane. 33 God is Vernon's moment of desperation, and ultimately he finds no satisfaction with God's lack of response. Religious connotations are prevalent on this album. 66 Upside Down Arrow shows Vernon attempting to battle his inner demons and conquer them. The narrative of leaving a former lover on 715 Creeks and conjuring imagery of baby Moses among the reeds, and the possible reference to God turning Lot's wife into salt in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And 00000 million sees Vernon contemplating that it's possible that his quest was in the hands of some existential entity, and later going on to dismiss spiritualism as having no impact on a modern day living. When all is said and done, Vernon's journey seems to end on a note of complacency, yet there's an air of acceptance. Vernon resigns himself to accepting that there are questions that he doesn't know the answers to, and maybe he never will. But even if there isn't an answer, he will not worry himself. Although it may not be a satisfying conclusion, it's one that Vernon is happy with, and ultimately that's all that matters to him. What does this mean for the future of Bon Iver? At this point, I don't think even Justin himself knows. But wherever this particular journey leads, I believe many will be ready and willing to join